hold a lot of the smaller pieces, and then you'll have diagrams like this telling you what the pieces are.
Okay.
You should also have a second diagram like this, which will show you what the second bottom part. Yep. So those will help you, especially if you're looking through the booklet. So here we have the booklet. Kind of looks like this. Yep. This has different projects in it, and I'll also post up another link in the chat here on Zoom with other robot projects you can do with this specific kit. But this has instructions to those projects, and in the back it also has sizing charts. These are actual sizing charts, so if it's like a number 15, you can put it up against it and see if it's number 15 or not. So that's another handy thing in here. This is just my papers from the last session. And then in this bottom part of the bin is where you're going to have a lot of your technical stuff. I have them all built into my prototype robot, which I can go over individual pieces. In your bin, you're going to have, here, I'll show you these two smaller ones here. Make sure that doesn't fall. So you're going to have a piece like this. That's an auditory piece. It picks up audio. So it's going to pick up like sounds and whatnot. You're going to have two of these, which they're just clickers. They're push activated. They kind of have a little plus on the front of it.
Okay.
And then on my robot, because I already have it installed, you're going to have 3 different servos, motors, like this arm looking thing right here.
Okay.
And you should have 3 of those. So those are motors. Yep. You're going to have
3.
Yep. You're going to have one of these, which this is a line sensor. It kind of looks like it's got LEDs on the bottom.
This?
Yep.
Okay.
You're going to have this right here, which is kind of hidden inside my robot, but it's the brains. It's the computer. It's a big old brick. Yep, one of those. And then somewhere in here, at the top here, the sonar. So you're going to have an ET looking piece right there. Yep, that's it. So that's the majority of your main components, I believe, that you have in there. To go over the sonar, this sends out, you know how like bats navigate caves? They send out clicks and it comes back and they can tell how far away or where something's at. This does the same thing. It emits a sound and it receives it, giving the computer information back. The light sensor right here does the similar thing. It sends out light and receives light to control the robot itself. And then the computer obviously controls the whole entire robot. We have ports on the bottom here, ports 1 through 4. Those are for sensors and sensors only. And then on the top, you have ports A through C, which are only for motors, which you can see that on your thing. And then you have a port right here for programming your computer. Your computer on the bottom, I can't really demonstrate, but it should have a panel that pops out. You're going to need about 6 AA's to go in these. So if you can get 6 AA's to go in the bottom of this computer. And that is the rundown for that. If you want, you can start working on a prototype today. Let me see if I can pull up a over here. Yes, it is. Let me pull up that website for projects that you can do. All right, so I'm going to put this in the chat. It's a link to this website, NXT Programs. It has a bunch of different instructions to build different robots. It's separated by category. I recommend you stay in the cars and vehicles category just because it's more relevant to what we're doing with these robots.
Okay.
So if you can, stay in that. Also, you can go in the machines. So cars and vehicles and machines section.
Okay.
I'll put that over in the Zoom, in the chat. All right, is everyone here? All right, so we're gonna start off with introductions, and any volunteers to go first? New people first, maybe?
I'm Charlie.
Okay, what school do you come from? So in introductions, sorry, I forget that you weren't here in the previous meeting. So we like to state name, school that you're coming from, and then what's something that you've recently made.
Okay. Charlie Maddox. I go to Centennial School, and I recently made a sort of like missile thing with a skier, and it can shoot up like 20 feet.
Awesome. And then was that with Legos, or what was that made out of?
It was made out of straws, some tape, a rubber band, and a skier.
Nice. That's great. It's great to hear. All right. Anybody else? Well, we've got to hear from almost everyone. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
I can.
Either one of you can go. How about Wyatt, you go?
Go ahead, Wyatt.
My name is Wyatt Strain. I go to Laramie Middle School, and something I recently built was my robot.
Nice. All right. Who's next? Anybody?
I can.
Go ahead.
I'm Jeremiah Hewlett. I go to Seton Home Study School, and what I recently made is what the instructions say in the booklet that comes with the kit, and that's pretty much all that I've made so far.
Nice. So you got started on your robot. That's great. How about Caleb? You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Caleb Strain. I go to Spring Creek Elementary, and I recently built my robot.
Nice. All right, so we have a few blank screens at the bottom. Do you guys want to introduce your guys' self? Maybe Caden or Gabriel?
My name's Caden, and I go to the middle school.
And what's something you recently made?
What I recently made was a coat hanger and stuff, and shelf out of wood.
Nice. And finally, Gabriel down there. Are you with us? I don't believe so. At least I can't tell. All right. So I'm Zane. I am an employee and an educator at the CSIC in the UW library. I'm a sophomore at the University of Wyoming, and something I recently made was this wonderful representation of a robot for you guys, which I actually had pulled off from the projects I had put in the link. So today, I know how many of you have not built or assembled any parts of your robot yet. So that's one. That's two. Two I can tell. All right. So today, what we're mainly going to go over is programming and connecting your computer to the smart brick on your robot to your computer, and I'll also go over how to download the software. So if you don't have anything built yet, that's okay. You can build a small little contraption using probably just the servo motor. So maybe build like a small car or something functional that you can attach the servo motor to. That way we can dive into the computer parts and programming of the robot. Also, if you wanted to see more in-depth of the introduction to the box and whatnot, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Mary Louise can help me with this. The link to last session's video, that'll give you a more in-depth process and diving into this kit that we have here. I also see that we have another member coming in, screen name Connor Townsley. If you'd like to introduce yourself, name, school, and something you've recently made.
Zane, I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you. Oh, and we got another person coming in.
Okay, it's actually Wayne Rogers, not Connor Townsley. I couldn't name the screen name.
That's all good.
Oh, see, it's not working this year. Did it do it?
All right, Wayne. So introduce yourself.
I'm
It's not showing. I'm not flipping my camera.
You might be cutting out a little bit. It might help if you turn off your video.
okay. Turn off video. Stop.
Stop video.
There you go.
Okay, I picked a robot that is.
So when they come on, you'll be able to hear them.
Oh, that has the scanner that has for the object thing, and then the light, and then the arm.
Awesome. So you got started on your robot.
I'm also planning of doing the speaker.
That would be neat. There is a speaker integrated onto the smart brick, so that might be something that you can do within your program. And I see that we have another person. If you'd like to introduce yourself, name, school, and something that you've recently made.
Clayton Wildenborg.
Hello, Clayton. What school do you go to, and what's something that you recently made?
I'm doing the ball kicker.
All right. So you started on your robot as well. That's great. All right. So like I said, today's session is going to be really diving into the programming aspect of the robots. It's pretty simple. I'll walk through downloading the actual software itself, and then opening, connecting it. You all should have a cord that looks like this, the short little cord that came with your kit. The ending should look something like that. I know it's not focused in all the way, but side by side, the ends should look like that. That's what you're going to connect your smart brick to your computer with. And we'll just start by doing the download process. Like I said, if you don't have anything built, you could build a simple contraption using just the servo motor, make like a simple car. There's attachments on both the top and bottom of the servo motor to attach different connect pieces. And then once you're done with today's programming, you can just disassemble that and get started on your robot as well. So I am going to actually screen share.
Do you want it like this? He can't see you, but you already downloaded it, so.
Get this all ready for you guys. All right, sweet. So I'm going to, if I can get Zoom to open back up. I'm going to screen share, and I am going to show you this one. All right, so this is the website here. I'll put this in the chat as well. This is the website that you're going to download it from if you don't already have it downloaded.
Yep. So
I somehow can access the chat here.
this your cable right here? That's
There
what he
we
was
go. Chat.
saying. Okay. Just listen to him and see what he says. I had put batteries in that before we
I
started.
don't know why it's not allowing me. If you go to education.lego.com, if you don't have it downloaded, you can find the downloads there. Actually, let's see if I can get this in the chat. All right, it's in the chat. So you can just run through, whether you have Mac, which is Apple, or Windows, you click on your software here, and then just click on download. It's going to ask for me to download it. I'm just going to go into downloads and save it. And that's going to run and save it. I'm just going to open it when it's done.
You're going to have your meeting by yourself, okay? If you need me, I'll be awesome. Great. Are you okay?
I still don't have here.
Okay.
You can sit in the rocking chair if you want.
Taking a bit to download, but that's okay. To get started, before we dive into the software, take your little connection, plug it into the proper port on your smart brick, which is just right here for me. It's on the top right if you're looking top down, and then plug her on into the computer. For me, I'm going to be using my laptop since it's already synced up on it, and I have the program on it on there. We're just going to open this. So I have it in a zip file. You should be able to extract it. I'm just going to set it up there, finish. And then once you're inside the files, you just want to run setup. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And then it's going to start installing the software for us. You go through, select the path if you need to. You usually don't, so you just keep on clicking next. You accept the licenses. Go through, and it's going to start installing the software for you.
So what do you click when you get on to the installer menu thing?
Are you talking about the file or just the actual, this panel right here?
When it comes up with all the files like that and reading licenses and products.
If you double click on setup when it pops up the folder, and then just click next on this window here until you're able to accept the licenses, and click next again, and it'll start re-downloading the process.
Okay.
It might take a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. And I'm gonna plug in my robot. I'm gonna have to move it to the right side of my desk. That's quite a bit of a process. But as long as you have the software installed and your robot connected to the computer itself, you should be set and
Yes.
ready to go.
Into your computer. Okay. Well, we already downloaded it. See, he's downloading it. We already did it. So don't worry.
Yep, if you already have it downloaded, don't need to worry about it. Just having this demonstrated for all the others who haven't had it downloaded yet.
Just wait, okay? Because then you're just ahead. What are you doing? Okay. Okay.
And to turn on your smart brick, all you have to do is click the large orange square in the center, and that'll turn it on for you. All right, we're going to go ahead and finish. Why? We'll go ahead and select restart later and for my purposes. We're going to go ahead and open the program, the NXT software.
It's going to look like this. Now you got to pay attention. Is it loading? No, ours is on there. He's doing it. So you see how it matches that? Now you gotta follow along with what he's doing. Imagine what he's gonna do.
All right, so this is what the base of the program is going to look like. Today we're just going to go and we're going to make a simple, it's going to loop in almost a square-like pattern, and we're going to do that in the software. So we're going to start a new program. I'm just going to call this whatever. Ooh, robot's wobbly. Square pattern.
Start the new program.
So it should pop up in the center of your screen. If you were to open a recent program, you could do that from here. Obviously, I don't have any recent programs in here, so we're just going to create our own. And then once you have typed in the name that you want, you just click go, and it's going to set up the scene for you. So here is where we have our basic different components that we can drag on into our program here. So we have our move functions, we have the record or play functions, the sound functions, the display functions, the wait functions, which this one splits out to time, or maybe it waits for a touch input, or maybe it waits for a certain light input, a sound input, or a distance input. All use separate sensors. So this uses a touch sensor. This one uses the line follower sensor. Sound uses the sound sensor, and the distance uses the sonar. There's the loop function here, which can loop a certain program that you have within your main program here. And then you have a switch. So for us on start, we're going to want to move. So we're just going to, you can click or drag. Not hard to do. Let me see if I can.
Click on that.
You just click on it, and it should attach itself to your mouse, and then you just plop it onto the start spot. And then from here, you can choose the directions and the port. So the important part now is connecting your components to your brain. So for me, I have my motors. All your motors are going to go in the lettered ports, so port A, B, or C. So to start, let's just throw a motor into port A. You should really only need one motor. If you have two motors on an axle, that's okay too. For me, I'm just going to act as if I have one motor. So we're going to select that it's in port A. Well, actually, let me select. I have two different motors here. I have this motor and port. Port B and C are my ports, but for you, you should only have one port. So I'm going to have B and C as my selected ports. You guys should only have one, whatever that may be. You can choose the directions here, so forward or backwards. So if I wanted to go straight, if I had two servos like I have hooked up, I have the left servo motor, which is B, and the right servo motor, which is C. So if I wanted both of them to move forward, I would choose forward, or if I wanted both of them to move back, I would choose back. But if I wanted it to turn, I would have to have separate functions. And so say I wanted to go right. If this was my left wheel, if B was my left wheel, I would have it go forward. And if C was my right wheel, I would have another function here. And I would make this my right wheel, and I would have it go back. That's how I would have the robot rotate right. The duration over here is in rotations. You can change that to the seconds, degrees. So if I wanted a specific, say I just wanted it to turn right like this. So that's going to be a 90-degree turn. I'm going to change this to 90. I'm also going to change this one to degrees.
So you can say.
And 90. I know I'm talking a lot, but if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and interrupt me. That's fine. Here also we have power, so you can go faster or slower. You can limit that. The max is 100. Obviously the slowest is 0. So we're going to keep this in a nice mid 75.
So here's this is this is look A, B, or C. There.
Do you have to have batteries?
Yes. So you need 6 AA batteries that go into the back of the smart brick itself. And it should have a nice little easy panel that you can pop out and put those in. Steering, we don't particularly need to mess with at the moment. I don't believe you'll be using this really at all during the duration of this programming. So now that I have these set up, and I can actually, I can branch out like this. So if you just click on the edge right here, bring it down like that. Well, why aren't you working? And we're just going to bring this down and connect it to this. That way, it runs simultaneously.
Screw over the lights too much. Screw this way. Smile.
So now that I have these set up, I have these buttons over here. So we have this one, which allows me to communicate with the NXT. If I turn this on.
Oh, he moved it. See?
I can re-replicate that if needed. I just simply, so when programming, it's easier to do it side by side when doing turns. So I had it like this, then I simply brought this down here.
He just moved it underneath. Can you do that on yours?
You kind of just grab it and drag it. I bring it right underneath. And then if you get, so this is the start symbol. If you go right underneath on the circle, it'll bring up this icon. If you hold it and drag it down and into this piece here on this little hole, it will connect it and this will run simultaneously. So it'll run at the same time as each other. So this is one turn function right here. So this, I believe, let me find my correlating motors again. So this will either turn right or left. I don't remember the way I had this one programmed. But going down into these controls down here, we have this, which allows you to see your connection type. So this will tell you if you're connected to your robot. If you click connect down here, it'll just simply connect. It'll tell you your battery life, the name. You can rename it right here. It'll tell you the amount of free storage, and it'll tell you other information like connection type and firmware. Firmware, it's not something you really need to worry about. It'll update by itself once you plug it into the software. So that's not something that you particularly need to focus on. Memory, you don't need to focus on this all too much either. So that's just basically an indicator of your thing. This right here, it's popping up different windows all over the place. Of course, I can't see what it's popping up.
Okay, so you don't put both of them in there, buddy. One has to be plugged in here. You could, which one?
All right, so this one, that one is the firmware update. You don't really need to press that all too much. Like I said, it'll automatically download that for you. This button right here, this will download your software into, or your program into the computer. So this little down arrow. So what I've made here will go into my machine. If I press the down arrow, it says download complete. And now I can manually, if I wanted to, I could go onto this thing, navigate to my files, and then choose the square pattern file and run it from there using the buttons on the machine. Or if I wanted to, I could just go down here. I'm going to pick up my robot because I don't want it going all over the place. Here, I'll hold it up like this. If you watch the wheels, let's see if I can come out a little bit. And if I click play on my screen, it's going to move. It technically moves 90 degrees. So then I'm just going to go ahead and click stop. Now, if I wanted it to move straight, so this one is moving forward and this one's moving backwards. So now I want to change this to forwards. And then I'm going to re-download it. And then I'm going to hit play. You can see that it moved technically 90 degrees. Now, if I wanted to go for a period of time, let's go seconds. Let's go 3 seconds each. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to re-download it, download it, and then I'm going to hit play, and it's going to go for 3 seconds. So it's fairly simple to navigate through, really through the motors. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, well, we can do multiple things. If you want to use 2 servos, 2 motors in your design, your simple design that you're making just for programming, like I have, that's really the way that you're going to be able to make it turn, is through 2 different servos. So in this program, I'm going to demonstrate how to do a simple square pattern. And we're going to do that in units of both degrees and in seconds. So for this, say we had a starting point. If this whole screen was my table or something, if I start right here where my cursor is, I want to go forward first. Then I'm going to want to turn right, and then I want to go right, and then I want to turn right again, and I want to go down, and finally turn right again, go back to the point of origin, and then turn right again. So that's where I want to basically bring it all the way to where it started again and facing the same direction. So I'm going to leave this first set of commands right here. So this is moving forward for 3 seconds. Oh, it's getting stuck in my robot. And then this one's also moving forward for 3 seconds. Those are 2 different servos. So we got servo C on the bottom and servo B on the top. Just depends on what your left and right is. So my left is on top and my right is on bottom. So we're going straight, and then we're going to add another move function down right here. We're going to add them to both. This will stay just B, and then the bottom one will stay just C for me. It may be different for you. So now we want it to turn right. So we want, so if this is my left one, I want my left one to go forward and my right one to go back. So my left one's going to stay forward, and we're going to change this to degrees, and I want it to go 90 degrees to the right, or forward, and then C is going to go backwards, so I'm going to change that here. Select backwards, and we're going to change this degrees, and I want this to go 90 degrees backwards. So that is our right turn. Also notice that our next action down here is brake or coast on all of our move functions. Brake, so if you turn, say we're starting here, if we turn here, brake is going to stop it right there. If you have it set to coast, it's going to shut off the power right here, but it's going to still go until momentum stopped it, or friction. So typically we like to keep it on brake to keep our movements precise. So we're going to leave that the same. So here we have forward, and here we have our turn right. So we want to go forward again. Let me see if I can do this. I cannot. We're going to replicate the same thing. So we're going to move here, move here. So we're going to want to go straight. So we went 3 seconds forward the first time. So it's going to be about the same amount of length. We're going to want the same amount of length as the first time. So for these, make sure that you're setting the right motors. We're going to set the duration to seconds, and we're going to go 3 seconds again, just so we have that same amount of length. And both of these are going to be going forward. This one. This one's going to be C. It's going to be forward. We're going to change the rotations to seconds and 3 seconds. So now we have forward, right, forward. So we've gone forward, we've turned right, we've gone forward. Now we need to turn right again. So we're going to do the same thing as we did before. This program doesn't really allow copy and paste. It can be a bit stubborn that way, but we're just going to have to navigate through it without it. Make sure our motors are set right. We're going to want to turn right again, so we're basically just mimicking this function here. So we're going to go forward still on this one. We're going to change the rotations to degrees. We're going to change it to 90. We're going to change this one to backwards, and then to 90. Make sure it's set in degrees. All right, so that's our next right turn. So we've gone forward, we've turned right, we've gone forward, we've turned right. And that's, now we need to go forward again to make the third edge of our square. So again, it's a tedious process, or it can be. If you add another one, both of these are going to be going straight again. Make sure you have the correct motors selected on both of these. And then we're going to want the edge of the triangle or the square to be the same. So we're going to set this to 3 seconds again. Not 23, 3. And make sure those are both set to the same. All right, so now we've gone forward, right. No, we've gone forward, right, and then forward. No, okay. Sorry, I was re-looking over this. So we've gone forward, we've turned right, we've gone forward, we've turned right, and we've gone forward. Now, finally, we need to turn right again and then forward again. So we'll go right again. So we're going to have B, as usual, go forward still. It's going to be in 90 degrees. And we're going to have C going reverse 90 degrees.
We have it like this, right?
Okay, that's not what I wanted. 90 degrees. Okay. And then we've all done it before. We want to go straight again.
You gotta start on this one. Yeah. So it's not here. Put this one.
We're gonna go straight for 3 seconds to create the last edge of our or our square. All right, so 3 seconds. That's gonna go forward for 3 seconds. Oh, I almost forgot to make this just C. So that's going to be another forward. Now, you could end it there, right? Technically, it's in the same position, but it's not facing the same direction. So typically, as a computer science major in college, when you're making a functional loop, you always want to start where you ended the last time. So to properly end this off, we would also want to rotate it 90 degrees again. That's up to you guys. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure it turns right one last time. 90 degrees forward and 90 degrees back. And that is back. All right, so that should technically be my full square program. Now, the issue I have with my robot is that it is made as a solid axle, so it's only meant to go forward and backwards. So I won't be able to demonstrate, I don't believe. Well, actually, I stand corrected. I was able to take that out. So now I can see, I'm going to go ahead and download this to my robot. Watch, I'm going to turn on my robot because it times out after a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on by clicking that yellow or orange button in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and download it. Okay, it's downloaded, and now I'm going to hit play. And now my servos are going to move. So forward, all right. It turned. It's going forward still. It's turned. Forward, turned. Turned. All right. So there's something wrong on one of my programs because my left side has stopped working. Well, I believe it could not be my program. All right. Another thing is that I didn't program a stop. I don't believe I was having problems with these.
Yes, they are. Okay.
Oh, okay. So my problem is right here. I accidentally have a loop function on. I don't want a loop function on. So let's take that off. I don't understand how I put that on there though. Oh, okay. I put rotations. It needs to be in degrees. That's where my issue was. So 90 degrees. So typically when you're having issues, just like I did, I accidentally had a bug in mine. I didn't select the degrees, I selected rotations. So it continued to go until I had 90 rotations on that specific tire. And actually what I've learned is that B is my right side and C is my left side. But the way I have my motors mounted, it's not that big of a deal because it runs about the same. So are you guys working on a small prototype to test this program on, or some sort of program like this?
I've been trying to build stuff, but all of the stuff I've been looking to try to build, sometimes I don't have enough pieces or the pieces for that.
Are you trying to do it out of the booklet or off the website?
off the website?
So it may be because you're looking at a different kit. Some of them use larger quantities of parts. The majority of these programs on this website are meant for this specific kit, but a few of them have additional parts needed. I know for mine, I had to improvise quite a bit because it didn't have the right amount of quantity of pieces. So you might want to just browse through. For the purpose of this little practice here, you might want to just make a simple little car with the 2 motors. That way you can practice programming before making your full-blown robot.
Okay.
Did anybody have any questions with the process I used?
Practice.
Is this a motor?
Like it.
So that's the way that I would. So give me the long one. No, the one that's making. Buddy, this part.
You guys working on your robots?
Yes.
Who's started programming? Has anybody started programming?
No. Here. Now we need a little crayon. Make sure it's the measurement. No.
Also, with a program like this, it can be difficult because clicking that play button on the software is actually, it gives you a limited space because you have to have the cord plugged in. At least I believe you do. Let me test that actually. Let me test if you have to have the cord. Make sure it's on. I'm gonna click play. And I'm gonna detach the cord. Oh, no, it goes with being detached. So if you click play, you're gonna have to be quick to detach it. It's hard for me to demonstrate how you can get to it via the smart brick, but if you navigate to your files and then programs, and then if you navigate using these arrows over to your program, and if you hit the orange button, it'll enter that program, and if you hit it again, it'll start that program. So I made a mistake, and I forgot to re-download my new software. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and stop it by pressing this gray button right here. That stops the program. I'm going to plug it back in.
Okay, so now
And give me confirmation. I'm just going to make sure it's connected. It's connected. I'm going to go ahead and re-download. I re-downloaded. I got confirmation. I got a beep from the actual machine itself. I'm going to go ahead and click play and unplug. Don't unplug until you've heard that beep. But it's definitely going, and it's going the way it's supposed to.
yeah, these two things.
So, but with the way my motors are set up, instead of it going just straight and then right, mine's going to turn left and go straight and then left and straight. So it's going to start on here and then go the opposite direction of what I've had this programmed. So it is a lot of trial and error. So if I wanted to fix this to do that right hand turn in triangles, I'm just going to have to flip the directions on my turns. Are you guys having any problems, questions, issues?
No, this one? Oh, no, not that.
I know a lot of you are still building, so you may not get to this point in development for a little bit, but I just wanted to get an example out there showing how to use the software and how to implement these kind of motors and turns. That's the basic for this. I know a lot of the machines that are on the website and in the booklet use a lot of the sensors and whatnot, and we can get deeper into that the further we get into your guys' builds. how many of you have a final prototype for your robot and are just waiting to program?
Got it.
That's it.
Is that you, Caleb? Also, Mary Louise says that she has some extra pieces at the office that she can check out if you guys do need more pieces for your project. So if you guys do need more pieces, feel free to reach out to Mary Louise.
Yeah, I don't know what, I mean, I know what I have, but I don't know if it's like what you guys need.
Nope.
And if we really needed to, we could probably order some.
This one?
We also might have some at our space as well, if we do have to find more, because I know we have a lot of scrap kits.
You need a yellow?
I know I need a new cable for mine because mine apparently doesn't have a cable to plug it in to the computer with. So
Okay.
I've been watching and learning, and I haven't been able to program yet.
Hey, Zane, is that a special cable or is it just a regular USB?
It's somewhat common in the tech field. It is pretty unique, though. It's one of, let's see if I can focus this.
Oh, it's
One
kind of
those.
square.
Yeah, it's like the ones that go into the back of a printer.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if any of the kits had the computer cord.
Okay, we might have a few of those at our space as well. I know we use them for Arduinos.
There, I was just listening and heard about that. I think we can probably find some extras. So we just need to know who needs them and how many.
I'm guessing probably everybody that's on, but I can also like see how long it takes to get them, you know. But
yeah, I mean, if it's something you're gonna want in and with your kits, more than likely. So
yeah, it is.
But it's also, isn't it also the Zane like a computer USB, like the, what is it, USB to?
I believe it's USB-C or USB-B or something like that.
Yeah,
I can look it up.
something weird, but it's basically that computer. It's the same, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as like what goes into a printer.
Yeah. So if kids have a home printer at home that they have like a USB to the home printer, they can probably just try that.
Oh, okay.
Another thing is these smart bricks are supposed to be Bluetooth, but Bluetooth has advanced vastly since
yeah,
since
I don't
these came
think
out,
these.
so they don't connect anymore.
Yeah, I think these are too old.
Yeah, I believe these are Bluetooth 1.0, and we're now on Bluetooth 3.0 and 4.0. So.
But an old printer connection would work. So,
okay, so a printer connector. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the link to the 4-H, Albany County 4-H YouTube page. And you can find, oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, I did the YouTube one, Jane, but it was, Zane did that really cool last week. He had a link that had really some cool designs, and I can't find it.
I put it in the chat. I can put it in the chat again.
You put it in the chat today?
I did, and I can just put it in again.
Yeah, put that in again. Awesome. That's great.
Right there. It's in the chat now.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll copy it again. I did that last week, but yeah, that's last week.
You could have the, you know, sounds like the kids are moving along here, looking at the code. So, yeah, good job. Well, I'll let you all continue on. Let me know if you need any more help from me, and Zane can update me on the number of cords that we need to find and locate if we need to find them.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Jane.
For sure.
which I tried our printer thing and it works. So I don't
Sweet.
need a cable anymore.
Yeah, if you guys do need a cable, just say it or type it in the chat, and I'll take a tally of that, and I can report that back to Jane as well.
Okay.
That way we can get all that figured out.
There's another one that just had one.
How's your guys' robots coming along?
They're good.
Good. Aiden says he has his own, so that's good. Ooh, my lighting's all getting messed up. Have any of you started programming on your motors yet, or are you guys still designing your robots or test robots?
What is correct?
Any of you guys need help or anything?
Do you need help?
Not really.
Okay. If you guys have any more questions on the programming, I know, like I said, we'll get farther into the sensors and whatnot the farther we get into our builds, but just let me know. I'd be happy to help.
Okay, we now have a cable to connect, I believe.
Okay.
What was the website to get to the programming?
So that's going to be this. If you go to education.lego.com, and I can actually put this in the chat again, that'll get you directly to it.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's in the chat again. So if you go ahead and follow that link, that'll take you to the download page.
Yeah. Next.
Once you guys have your miniature test prototypes done, if you guys would like to share, that would be awesome.
I want to tell him that
At what way? Hey, speak up so I can hear you.
I really want to tell him that I don't have enough cords.
No, I think this is the core.
No, I mean, so like do
Okay.
this,
Okay, stop.
this.
You're not building fancy robots. You're supposed to be building what they're telling you. We're not building. We're supposed to be building a car that goes in a square. Okay?
You might be able to do that without the cord. This.
Here's another one. You're supposed to have two of those. You might be out of that. You might need more stuff. You guys. But he's building it. No, I think you're gonna have to get some more from your areas. Nope. Yeah. Okay, so you're, I think, at a standstill because you don't have enough of the parts.
Like Mary Louise said, we can try to get more parts for you guys as well if you are missing some of the parts in the kits.
Yeah.
Well, the kits are complete. All of them that we've given out are complete except for like one kit has missing 5. But they may just be wanting to build, more than what these kits handle,
That's fair. Yeah.
We have the, okay.
We have it.
So I'm trying to install the program. I got things that then I got up to the part where it said finish. I clicked on that and then nothing's happened. So I clicked on setup again.
So once you've clicked finish, you need to find the software on your computer and open it up that way. It doesn't automatically open it up for you.
This is a.
So for me, I go and I search NXT in my start, and then it's going to be NXT 2.1 programming. And I just double click on that and it opens it up for me.
Okay, found it.
Great.
Oh, I did it. I got it.
Okay, good.
Anybody need any help or any updates? How's it going?
Good.
How many of you are close to being done?
Like.
No, it's not all the way. Yeah, I think you are.
It can be a process. I understand.
See, then you only have one more step, and then you put that on.
We only have one more step, and then we're done.
Sweet. That way we can get started on this little simple program. Even if it's programming your car to go straight, still start.
Got it. Okay, but I need just the one that has the long term. Like this, but that doesn't have 3, it has 2.
Here's one that's
Looks like a few people dropped out. It's unfortunate. I was hoping to see some builds before, or at least starts of builds, maybe some programming before you guys leave as well. But I understand. It can be quite the process for building these robots. I knew mine took me about 2.5 hours to build the complete thing. So building a prototype would take quite a bit as well. If you need help understanding how to wire your robots, go ahead and ask as well. We can get that set up for you.
This? Yep. Hi. Whoops.
Jane posted in the chat. If you can present your projects before you go, please put your name in the chat in the order that you would like to present. You can share your screen to show your code and or just show your robot in your video.
Okay, we need to build another one of those. Give me another one of those middle things. Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard, isn't it? That's where you learn it. Okay, so you have 2 of these. Where's the little? Where's?
We need volunteers. So who wants to go first, second, third, last? Type your name in the chat, and that would help us tremendously to get things started. Even if your complete build isn't done yet, that's okay. We just want to see some sort of progress.
Oh, just on there.
That or I'll be mean on picking people.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, it's right.
No, just
I like to watch the movie, Mama.
Okay, so we got Caden saying that he wants to go second, so that's a start. We have any pickers on first? We need people, guys.
Mama, there's still yogurt on the floor.
go pick it up. Now where is that?
Any pickers, guys? Come on. Gotta get people's names in the chat for the order that they want to go in. Or like Mary Louise said, she'll start picking people.
Hey, so this is Wayne Rogers. Our limitation is I can't even figure out how to get to the programming stuff. I've been on the the Education Lego website. I think I'm trying to get it downloaded, but I'm not having any success. That is our limitation here.
Okay. I can definitely get some more documentation in the chat if you need help with that. That is yeah, it can be difficult, especially with the Lego. It takes a bit of time. This is the site that you should be seeing. I don't know if you're on Windows or Mac. You can just go ahead and click on that, download. That'll download your software. Once you have it open, no, I don't want to do that. You can just go into your downloads, unzip it, and then click on setup, and it should set up the whole thing for you. Just go through, click next, and whatnot, accept the license and agreement, and then once it's finished, it'll close out, and then you have to manually open it up again. So we have Clayton first, and then we have Caden second. Do we have picks for third? We also understand, Wayne, if you don't have a complete build yet. Do you have anything built for a prototype, or are you guys still just working on the software side?
No, I don't know. We need another one of those, and I don't see that. Can you see? You gotta go through them. This is that one. Even if it's not the same. Oh yeah, I can see. You're missing somebody. And see, it's not gonna work if you.
How do I get the microwave to like kind of get it in time? Like what time? So I'm not doing
Don't worry about it. I'll do it.
Hello. There it is. Right there.
No, but that doesn't go on there though. You needed the other one to make the wheel. You don't have that. You can tell them that we have the robot body, but we're missing a couple pieces.
We have the robot body, but we're missing a couple of pieces to just finish the wheel.
Right here, right here. Look, look. We're using a different one. You have it, dude.
It's all the windows that I took them on there, okay? They're just, see? Well, a little bit.
All right.
You guys,
I'm back from on my phone. My Wi-Fi doesn't like it when I use Zoom. So this will be what I have now. So going back, how much do you guys need to finish up your current projects?
I think it's that much.
We lost Caleb and Wyatt too. I think they got kicked off.
They said thank you in parted ways before
Oh,
I could catch
okay.
them and say or have them share.
Oh, okay. No biggie.
Right.
Differently.
Looks like Charlie's got something.
Still have mine. Because I actually took mine all apart, so I have to basically start all over again and think it out and everything. So,
Do you have any programming to share with us? If you could share your screen. You guys are glitching out, so if I stop my video, you guys don't glitch out as bad.
Give me two longer ones.
This one?
This one.
Speak up and share your videos or screen so we know you're presenting.
I left those up there for a reason, please. Leave them up there. Quit messing.
He's not.
Yes, I am.
Who was first?
Put your volumes off, right?
Clayton.
Okay. Clayton, we'll have to show what you were doing.
You'll have to turn your camera on for a minute, Inez.
Okay. Here, they want to see what you're doing here. Show them your robot. You still have the other one more step before you put the motor on. Okay, you can talk. I think they can hear you, Clayton.
Cool, Clayton.
They can hear you. You can talk about what you did.
I just have to finish the wheels and put the motor on, and then I'm done.
So is that the Can you show us what you got?
I've got this so far, and I'm making what's the thing called in the book? I'm making, I don't know what it is, but it's the robot in the book that I'm making.
Very cool. What about Landon and Audrey? How's your building going?
Good. Audrey's not here.
Oh, okay. So what are you building, Landon? Can you show us?
I'm building the one from the book.
Okay, can you turn your camera on for a sec?
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks great.
Thank you.
It's a great start. Yeah, once you guys get all the wheels and stuff on your motors, you can start programming. You can even mess around doing different patterns. It doesn't have to be square either. You can have it go straight. You can try different powers. Get comfortable with programming with the software.
Yes, when you get the wheels on, then you'll be able to start having it turn and stuff like that. And then that'll probably make you more excited to actually see what you're doing.
But I am so nice.
Are there any others? Any other takers?
All right, so in the programming thing, I'm not finding anything that is NXT. Everything is Mindstorm.
What website are you on? You're on the education, correct?
Education.lego.com.
All right.
You also couldn't find those ones, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you go to the basis, education.lego.com /en-us, let me navigate this from this perspective.
I can't find
any
of
these.
these.
Yep, you do have the littlest ones. So if we really need to modify, we can.
And then,
are you on mute?
Oh, no, I'm not. Let's just.
So if you go to Google and just look up NXT education software, on Google, it should be the very first link that pops up. It says download your NXT software. And then that'll take you directly to the downloads page.
Sometimes if you don't see it, which on our computer we didn't see it because our virus protection was preventing a pop-up. So sometimes if you look on the bottom tab, if it's just blinking, there should be something that blinks. That might be why you're not seeing it. I don't know if it's a pop-up blocker, but our computer, we had to allow it to pull up the website to download.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I know with our school computers and whatnot, that's blocked through the firewall services anyway, so we don't get those pop-ups. So yeah, that may be an issue that you're having. But yeah, I know if I just go on Google, if I just plainly search up NXT education software, it's going to be the top one, education.lego.com.
I put the link in the chat too.
Yeah.
Since I know you're on your phone, Zane, now. So.
Oh, thanks,
I got to the right screen. I guess I'm downloading it now.
Yeah. I don't know if the previous links that I had put in the chat weren't going to the right place, but that was the link I had gotten, is the one that Jane put up. But great, got it downloading.
When I just press a button, it'll just turn on. No, that's where you got to program it. He was. Okay, look. You got
But the
that.
main thing is just to kind of mess around too. I mean, it is cool to follow a pattern, but you guys are really creative. I have to follow directions, but you kids are creative and will do cool stuff.
Absolutely. You can program it to do just about anything you want. Program it to navigate your whole house. Program to navigate your whole house.
Whoa. What? It'll go all over your house. In what? In the what? The robot will go all over your house. That's what I said. Yeah, you could program it to be all over the house. Like every time. Mm-hmm. Gotta clean up and stuff. I don't know about that, buddy. Can I ask him? Yeah.
Could the robot clean up?
Well, I mean, like if you had a bunch of Legos on the floor and you made like a scoop and programmed it to scoop it up, it could, I guess, in a sense, but I'm not 100% sure. That's really just up to your creativity and what you do with the programming.
Yeah, I think it goes like.
Has everyone shared, or is there others out there who haven't?
It's a lot heavier with time.
It's heavy, isn't it?
All right, so this is Wayne again. Apparently, I'm not computer savvy enough to figure out where something goes once it downloads. But Wayne would like to show you the robot that he had already built.
It's
Sweet.
I
Oh, look at this.
There we go.
Cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a better version of mine.
light. Then the two wheels. I decided to add well.
Yeah, it looks good. And then that file that downloaded, if you're using most browsers, that'll download the file into your download files. So if you just go into your file explorer, I'm assuming you're on Windows, it should be around the same for Mac users. If you go into your file explorer and then go into your downloads tab, it should be somewhere in that folder. If you sort by date and time, it should be at the top.
Woohoo. I think this goes like that and there.
No, I see one. You got it all over here, mister.
All right, so this is going to be the last 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions or concerns, go ahead and ask them now. I'd also like to remind that Jane will be posting this on the 4-H YouTube channel. So just letting you guys know that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions and whatnot, now is the time to get them out there. If you guys need any other materials or Legos, let Jane or Mary Louise know, and we'll try to get that sorted out for you guys as well.
You want to share what you built?
Can I share what I built?
Yeah.
Well, you showed them the first part, but then you finished it. Hold on. Let me get you on the video.
Yeah, it's looking better. Now that you got those wheels on there, you can definitely get that program.
Now, yeah, then you can get it programmed, what he's saying, and then you'll be able to get it.
So Clayton, that's not to harass your sister with, though.
Yeah, like your remote control cars. That's exactly right.
Yeah, how did I know that he already did that with his cars?
Exactly. Because you have voice.
Yeah, I was in a family of, I have multiple siblings. I understand how that goes as well. All right. Anybody else
So
have
can
any
we
questions?
make up our
Go ahead.
Can we make up our own designs? Like make up our own things and then like program them to do things,
Yeah, that's totally
I
something
guess.
you can do. If you want to make your own robot type design and have it do its own type of functions, you can totally go ahead and do that. And my biggest pieces of advice is if you're doing that, definitely tinker with the programming, because you can do a lot of amazing things. And we can get deeper into that next week, because we will be back next week talking more about this stuff. So yeah, if you want to pursue your own design,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Cool, mister. That's pretty neat. But how are we gonna get the speakers on? Well, look, then the next thing you have to do is we'll have to program it. And it'll work. Really go.
Well, if there's nothing else, it was great having you guys here. Try to get more progress done on your. Definitely experiment with your software programming and development, and really try to get some progress done. We want to see your builds next week. And if you're doing this for your 4-H project, make sure that you are documenting what you guys are doing. That's pretty important to get that documentation down for your journals. So just keep that in mind. And if there's nothing else, we will see you guys all next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
Nice job, Zane.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.